Well, Marty Calder from Center Counseling Services now joins us for Parenting Tips, and today we are taking a look at a question I've had a lot since becoming a dad, is what my child doing normal? So kind of a big, all-encompassing question there. We actually polled a few of the people here at KPVI to get their questions too. So first off, I guess, how would you define normal to start?
So that's the first thing we can change, actually, is typical, is what you'd say instead of normal, because normal is kind of an outdated view of how kids work, because we're all different, we all have different personalities, and there's not a normal, but there is typical. What most people do or what most kids do in a situation is a lot better way to think about it than is my kid normal, because that can kind of get you into trouble a little bit. So.
Okay. So the first one we got is, how come kids think that they know everything, and how do you lovingly reinforce to them that they do not?
That's a great question, because it really goes to the heart of how you want something done versus getting it done. So let's say you have, one of the things that happens is a parent will make a request to a child, and they'll say, you need to do this. And the kid will do it in their own way, and that may not be to the satisfaction of the parent. So the parent has to really define for themselves, what is the task I want to be done, or what is the response I want to get. And those might be different things. So if you want the room cleaned okay, but no attitude, which is kind of what we're talking about and in here, then that's one thing. If your ultimate goal really is to clean the room, then the attitude can be there as long as they're doing the task. And that's really hard for parents to absorb when they're used to being in charge and this kid's taking it out on.
So focusing more on the end result rather than kind of that in-between time.
Kids want to have control just like adults do. And so if you can give them as much control as they can for a situation, that'll help those battles of what you're talking about in there, where it's this attitude, or they're in charge and that kind of stuff. So give them things that they can be in charge of. And then other things, what you can say is, this is the limit. And then this is what's going to happen. No emotion to it, no arguing back and forth, none of that kind of extraneous stuff. Very specific things you want them to do, and then very specific consequences or reinforcement for it.
So moving on here, a couple of them, using our new terminology now, typical instead of normal. What is typical in terms of intellectual development, and also going along with that, social interaction and sibling interaction?
Okay, so with intellectual stuff, that can be quantified pretty well. So when you enter school age, or typically kids will start to be interested in books and reading, that kind of thing, especially as the family is. So whatever the family sort of does, and tradition-wise, that has a lot of effect on intellectual processing, because what happens is, if you value education and you're very concerned about it, kids will typically respond to that. Versus if that's not anything, book never is open in your house, that could be a problem potentially. And then sibling interaction and social interaction are kind of the same way. If they've had a lot of interaction with cousins and sisters and brothers, typically they're better at school situations.
More outgoing.
Right, but sometimes kids are just going to be different. They are going to be more shy, or not want to have as much social interaction. And as I've said here before, if it impacts their ability to really have meaningful relationships, that's when you have to look at maybe more professional help or testing. If they're not having any friends at all, if they're not socially interacting with anyone, then that's more problem areas.
All right. Thank you very much for stopping by.